really do appreciate this.
Thank you.
During the news, I was reading a couple of things and articles about you, and this is one of the nicest analogies I think that stood out for me. Is somebody described you as tough as an old pair of boots. Really? You have to, I suppose, be this tough in this industry?
Yes, I think I have to be tough, and I always say I'm autocratic with a feminine touch, which therefore means that I want people to deliver, but at the same time, when people have social problems, personal problems, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I look at things differently.
Yeah. Does it make it more difficult for you, being the grandmother, being the mother, being the female figure as well, to compete in this male-dominated world? Because, and I keep emphasizing this, because we're talking about mining. Yes. We're not talking about any other industry. This is a very, very male-dominated industry.
I think you feel it more when you're in the sector.
Yeah.
And it has been tough, because you have to start at the coalface. For instance, some of the examples that I have is that when I go underground, the first time I went underground, is that some of the guys that are actually working underground didn't think that I was the chairman of the business.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like typical men, why are you here? And so on and so forth. So, but, you know, it's a learning process. It's very hard, because unfortunately we are the ones that are actually responsible in bringing up our own children in the manner in which they actually become, where they actually don't believe in us as women. You can see it in their faces when you tell them, even as your own employees, that they actually don't believe in you. Somewhere in their subconscious, they actually think that you belong to the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it's a slow process. It's a learning curve. And for me, is that because I was focused, I knew that I was going into the industry knowing what the industry looks like. I knew that for me to enter and perfect it, it was for me to actually break the doors open rather than allowing people to go in, because they will not allow you in.
Yeah.
And it's been tough, but it was well worth it.
Quite interesting as well is that you were actually born in Pilgrim's Rest.
Yes.
So mining in a way has been in your blood from the day you were born.
Yes, I think so, because gold was discovered in Pilgrim's Rest, 1860. And I grew up eating bread that my grandfather used to bring from the Transvaal Gold Mining Enterprises in Pilgrim's Rest. My grandfather's house is about, in terms of kilometers, it used to be 8 miles. It's probably 3 or so kilometers away from the town itself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I just think that it's such a massive accolade, and it really, really is something that anybody can be proud of. Now, I mean, you beat out those who are also running as big corporations. And just on a final closing note, I know that we talk about awards and winning things like this, but what does this mean to you? What does this mean for generations going forward, that a woman can win the Africa CEO of the Year award on a global platform?
I think what it means to me is that a woman coming from Mafikeng, a woman coming from Kailicha, a woman coming from Djibouti, can actually dream that they can go into these sectors. But above all, for me, is that I was tired as a mother, as a grandmother, seeing Africa as a hopeless continent. Africa must begin to deliver bouncing babies. And if we have 15 million job seekers today in Africa, we need to translate those into entrepreneurs. The challenge is funding, capacity building, and looking at women differently as a human resource that is untapped, that is good, that is actually investing in society.
You're inspiring. Thank you. Thanks for inspiring us on this Monday morning. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Daphne Mashile-Nkosi, the chairperson of Kgalagadi Manganese, just walking away with the prestigious award as the CEO of the Year for Africa. Well done. Absolutely well done.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to have you here in studio. All right, the time is just before 20 minutes past 8.